Channel Status Theory Episode 27 Target length 10 to 12 minutes Word count some 1,150 words. There is a painting. It is a canvas painted entirely one shade of gray. It sold at auction for over $3 million. There is a sculpture. It consists of a banana duct-taped to a wall. A collector paid $120,000 for it. Then someone ate the banana. The work's value was reportedly unaffected. This is not a joke about the art market. It is a perfectly precise illustration of what the art market is actually for, and why the wealthiest people on Earth are so eager to participate in it. Art nobody understands is not a flaw in the system. It is the system. Pierre Bourdieu spent years studying how taste functions in social stratification. His core finding: aesthetic preference is not neutral. It is learned, class-specific, and used to distinguish between groups. The person who appreciates difficult contemporary art and the person who finds it baffling are not simply having different aesthetic experiences. They are occupying different positions in a cultural hierarchy. The ability to engage with art that is genuinely difficult, art that requires context, art world knowledge, critical language, and insider familiarity, is a form of cultural capital. It is not something you are born with. It is something you acquire by being in the right rooms, reading the right things, knowing the right people. This is precisely why difficult art makes such an effective status signal. If anyone could appreciate it instantly, it would not work. The difficulty is the point. The work filters for people who have already invested time and access in acquiring the right cultural background. It whispers, you either know this world or you do not. Contemporary art collecting at the high end serves three simultaneous functions: cultural signaling, financial management, and social network maintenance. The cultural signaling is visible. When a collector's name appears on the donor wall of a major museum, when their collection is lent to prestigious institutions, when their taste becomes part of the cultural conversation, they acquire a form of legitimacy that money alone cannot purchase. This is why the world's richest people do not stop at buying luxury goods. Goods are acquisitions. A serious collection is a statement. The financial function is less visible, but equally real. Art operates in an almost completely unregulated market. Prices are set privately. There is no centralized exchange. Works are often transacted without public disclosure. This opacity creates opportunities for wealth management that liquid markets do not offer. Art can store value, be transferred across borders, passed to heirs, or used as collateral against loans, sometimes at favorable terms compared to other asset classes. The Deloitte and Arttactic Art and Finance Report has tracked the growth of art as a wealth management instrument, noting its increasing use as collateral and its role in estate planning. The social network function is perhaps the most underappreciated. Art fairs, Art Basel, Frieze, and TIFAF are not primarily about art. They are among the most curated networking environments on Earth. The collector who knows what to look at, what to say about it, and which gallerist to know personally, has access to a network that cannot be bought with general wealth. It requires cultural fluency. Not all art serves the status function equally well. Accessible art, beautiful landscapes, identifiable subjects, technical virtuosity, can be appreciated by anyone.
It does not require insider knowledge, and therefore it does not distinguish insiders from outsiders. Difficult art does. Consider the difference between a technically masterful academic painting and a piece of conceptual art that requires understanding the artist's theory, their place in art history, the institutional relationships that brought them to prominence, and the critical discourse surrounding the work. One of these you can appreciate on first sight. The other rewards months of immersion in a specialized cultural world. The collector who confidently purchases difficult conceptual art is not necessarily claiming superior aesthetic pleasure. They are demonstrating membership in a world where that art matters. They know the context. They know the artist's arc. They have relationships with the people who control access and prices. There is also a specific psychological mechanism at work. By purchasing something others find baffling, the collector demonstrates confidence in their own judgment against mass opinion. This is a form of status performance that says, I do not need external validation, my taste is its own authority. The art market is not primarily an aesthetic market. It is a social machine for producing and managing status. Galleries represent artists, but they also represent collectors. The relationship between a collector and a leading gallery is a social relationship. The gallery gives collectors access to artists before shows, access to desirable works before they reach the open market, access to private previews and dinners. In exchange, collectors provide legitimacy, purchasing muscle, and social capital back to the gallery and the artists it represents. This circular system means that the most desirable art is almost never purchased at open auction by people unknown in the art world. Important works circulate through private networks first. Price is almost secondary. Access is the actual currency. Art advisors, professionals who help collectors navigate this world, exist not because collecting is complicated, but because the social relationships required to collect well are impossible to acquire without significant time investment. The advisor's real value is their network and their cultural fluency, not their ability to read a catalog. When a collector lends work to a major museum retrospective, donates to a museum acquisition fund, or places their collection as a named gift, they are not just being generous. They are converting financial capital into cultural capital permanently. Their name enters the art historical record. The banana taped to the wall was not an accident. The artist understood exactly what he was doing, staging a confrontation between obvious economic absurdity and the cultural system that assigns value regardless. What the buyer understood was simpler, that purchasing the work was proof of membership in a world where such things are taken seriously. That proof is worth more than a beautiful painting anyone can admire. This is the real luxury market. Not what things look like, what they prove. Subscribe to Status Theory. We will keep decoding what the game is actually for.